Hey guys, it's me, Stefan, your GM. Welcome to the first video of a set of videos I'm going to create where I explain the rules of the campaign. I'll keep these videos as short and clear as I possibly can, so we can get started as quickly as we can. Starting out with the basic idea of the campaign. It's a map-based campaign. Back in the day, Games Workshop published it. It was a boxed set. It came with tiles. You used the tiles to create a map, and players would start out on the map, and then every turn they'd move around, attacking other players, taking lands. The lands would give them points, and at the end of the campaign, the player with the most points wins. The basic idea is that simple. Here's an early example of the map for the campaign. It's not quite finished, but for the purposes of this explanation video, it'll do. As you can see, it consists out of a number of 6-sided shapes, hexagons. The more players, the more hexes the map consists out of, and every player starts randomly generated anywhere on the map. You can see these colors. These are the set spawning points, if you will, for the players, and every player will start out with 3 territories under their control, with also a capital in one of them. This is their main base of operations, very important. And from there on out, every turn, players will be able to challenge each other, and should they win their battles, they'll be able to claim new hexes to be under their control. At the end of the campaign, the player usually with the most territories under control, and so the most points wins. Now I hear you ask, how does a campaign turn work and how many are there? Well, usually the campaign will last a number of turns, anywhere between 8 and 12-ish. That's what the rulebook says, but really it can last for as long as we want to play it. I guess we'll see for the first time round how far we'll get and how fast a victor will emerge. As to how a game turn actually looks like, let's take a look at that right now. Here I have the page for the turn sequence taken from the Mighty Empires rules book, and well, let's take a look. The rules book starts by explaining that a turn takes around a week to resolve, but again, as with the campaign length, it's really up to us how long we want to take over completing a turn. It will probably take a little bit more than a week, as we are with 8 players. Everybody has to play their game. They will have to submit their results to me. I will have to process them and get the next turn ready. It will probably realistically take around 3 to 4 weeks, but we'll see. The first step of the turn is rumors and mercenaries. This is the step where the game master posts rumors for the upcoming turn, which means that there might be some random events that might happen which will make things a little extra interesting that turn. And also, if there are mercenaries up for bids, this is where players will be able to bid for any extra equipment or extra command upgrades for their units. Imagine that these are warriors that are coming to bolster their ranks if you pay them enough coin. Next up will be the orders step. This is where you will get to place an order on every territory that you have. There are different types of orders. What orders there are and what they specifically do, I will go into in another video. But for now, know that they will basically give you a number of bonuses that you will put to good use during the course of the campaign. The next step is interim results. This is where players will actually start challenging other players for their battles. It's really very simple how this works. Starting with the starting player. This will, by the way, rotate every turn who this starting player is, and then it goes clockwise. They will challenge another player. Now, a player can only challenge another one if he hasn't already been challenged before, or if the challenging player himself hasn't been challenged yet. Okay, so once everybody has either been challenged or has challenged a player, we will then move on, and everyone will get to pick if they will fight, stand their ground, or if they will flee the battle. Also, there will be some extra rolls being done, like pre-game rolls, to see if you have extra information about the attacking player who's coming to invade your lands and such things. I will also go into that into more detail later. And then you have the fight or flight step. Now, this is where basically anyone who's challenging, or rather being challenged, will see if they will stand their ground or if they will flee. Armies that opt to flee will successfully escape without, suffering casualties. That's the upside. The downside is you will automatically lose, and the challenger is automatically victorious. If you stand your ground, you fight, and then lose, you might run the risk of losing the battle with a number of casualties. There's a chart for that. The game master will help you, and yeah, we'll go into that later as well. Then there's battle resolution. Once everybody's either fled or fought their battles, we will then see what the spoils for the victors are. There's an old table for that as well, and this is the cool and interesting part. If you won, you are able to take new territories for yourselves, claim them, and you will get extra resources. You'll be able to build some stuff, and we'll take a look at that in more detail in the next video as well. And then final results. If there are by any chance people unable to play the games, we set a deadline for 3 weeks. The 3 weeks have passed and some players aren't able to play their battles. We can determine to resolve these using another chart. This isn't, of course, as fun as by far the preference is that everybody gets to play their battles, but sometimes real life happens, and I guess we'll see if we have to make use of that. I hope not. And then there's the end step. This isn't really until a set number of campaign turns has been reached. So if, for example, we all agree that there are going to be at least 10 turns in the campaign game, and then we've reached the end of the 10th turn, we will then roll a die. On a 4, we'll play another turn, or if we roll a 1 to 3, we won't. So potentially it can go on for a few more turns, or it could immediately end. This is really to keep it interesting, as nobody really knows exactly when it will end, so that might keep things a little exciting. And then here at the very end of the campaign, you can see the winning step, which is where you will see who has the most power. These are points that you accumulate during the course of the game. For example, each hex in your kingdom will grant you every turn a power point. There are some extra rules and things that will give you power points. You can see here each hex will do so. Each major terrain feature can do so. Major terrain features, for example, are your capital and some other buildings that you can build. You can stumble on major terrain features or other features once you claim a hex for yourself, and you kind of explore what's on that hex. But yeah, basically the player with the most power points wins the campaign and is the mightiest of empires. Alright guys, that is the turn sequence for Mighty Empires explained. I hope that was clear. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on the chat, ask any questions you want, and like I said before, I'm going to be going into more detail in the next couple of videos. Matter of fact, next video I'll be explaining the army building aspect of the campaign. That's also a little different from what you're normally used to. How many armies do you have? How do you build them? What can you use every turn? Stuff like that. How do you grow your armies? How do you improve on them? How do you get more characters? How do you get more magic items? Stuff like that. It's going to be very exciting, so tune in. I hope to get that one up as soon as possible as well. Until then, I hope you guys have a good day, and yeah, I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.